Coming up, gone too soon. A Wilmington City Councilwoman's sudden death has rocked those who knew her service to the community. And the national teacher shortage has impacted Delaware. Plus, America's oldest professional Marine band is back on a national tour with a stop in Delaware. All this, plus your local sports and weather. DETV News starts now. Good evening and welcome to DETV News. I'm Lauren Wilson. We begin with a sudden passing of former Wilmington City Councilwoman Rashima Dixon. Elected to City Council in 2016, Dixon was the youngest and the first black woman in the at-large seat. Her passing was announced Friday morning. Outside of her political career, she was the founder of RD Innovative Solutions, a community strategy organization that just celebrated its 11th anniversary the day before her passing. She recently promoted her business as a guest on DETV's Good Morning Wilmington show.
Our thing is that we want to just make sure that, again, that we have as much as we can put into communities as possible. So we're talking about philanthropists, organizations, foundations, businesses that are just trying to start as an entrepreneur who may want to go into solving problems in their communities. We also would like you to be a part of what RD Innovative Planning does also.
The votes are in. The winners of the 2022 Delaware primary elections were recently announced, with only 16.2% of registered voters participating in this year's elections. First making the headlines was the race for state auditor. Lydia York defeated incumbent Kathy McGinnis by a landslide with 71% of the votes. The race for state auditor was a hot topic this year as McGinnis was convicted of 3 misdemeanor corruption charges, which were later reduced to 2. York took to social media after her win, thanking Delaware Democrats and her team for their efforts. More newcomers will also be headed to the general elections in November. Deshauna Neal is the Democratic primary winner for District 13. She's a strong advocate for the LGBTQ+ community. She won against her opponent, Larry Mitchell, by just 4 votes. And recent University of Delaware graduate and former Miss Delaware, Sophie Phillips, won the Democratic primary seat for the 18th district, winning by a whopping 71%. She will go on to face Republican Gloria Hope Payne in the general elections. If elected at the age of 26, she will become the youngest member of the state legislature. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, teacher shortages are on the rise. Stay tuned to see how districts are changing their classrooms and find out which Delaware schools were recognized with a national award. We'll be right back.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. Storman's Classic Hall of Fame inductees have just reached here. We're going to induct 100 people, and all the conversation around the state is going to come to a halt because we're going to induct 100 guys and girls on September the 29th at the Chase Center at 6 p.m. Be there. Also, most of these folks participated in Storman's Turkey Drive. It always happens the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Be there, Storman's Classic 100 Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm ready. Woo!
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Welcome back. As the summer comes to an end, fall is in full effect. Shakira Denise is here to let us know about this weekend's forecast. Shakira?
That's right, Lauren. The fall breeze and autumn leaves are definitely upon us. Temperatures are getting low, but not too low where you can't enjoy some of this weekend's activities. And speaking of activities, it's that time of the year again. HBCU Week is officially here with events starting tonight all the way to Sunday. To kick off the festivities, the HBCU Week concert begins tonight at 7 p.m. at the Queen with legendary artist Rick Ross, Maya, and local artist Ken Masters. Now on Thursday, the My HBCU Experience panel discussion begins at 6:30 at the Queen, featuring Delaware's own India Sage. Heading into our weekend weather forecast, Friday will have beautiful sunny skies with a high of 66 degrees during the day. Perfect weather for students at the HBCU Week College Fair at the Chase Fieldhouse in Wilmington. But if you're heading to the comedy show on Friday night, be prepared for the temperature to drop to the upper 40s in the evening. Doors for the show featuring comedian Michael Blackson open at 7 p.m. at the Queen. Now on Saturday, we'll have mostly sunny skies with a high of 71 degrees. Not too bad for the HBCU Week block party at Deco in Wilmington. The party will be held from noon to 5 p.m. and leading us into Sunday for a battle of the bands. 3 HBCU bands will battle it out on the field at Frawley Stadium. Gates open at 12:30 p.m. and the weather will be a perfect and beautiful 79 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Make sure to register for all the spectacular events at hbcuweek.org. You don't want to miss out. I'm Shakira Denise, and this is your DETV 3-day weekend weather forecast. Back to you, Lauren.
Thanks, Shakira. It's been about a month since the beginning of the school year, and some schools are struggling to keep up with teacher shortages. Kaylin Pride tells us how some districts are managing what's being called a national crisis.
It's been a rough first few weeks for many schools and districts across the country as the nationwide teacher shortage continues to be an issue. According to the U.S. Department of Education, Delaware has teacher shortages in multiple subjects, including English, foreign language, and mathematics. To combat the issue, the Colonial School District is making changes to the classroom. Back to the Basics, an award-winning Delaware-based business, is providing in-school classroom instructions to approximately 900 students at William Penn High School via Zoom for mathematics.
We do currently still have about 20 teacher vacancies, but we are working towards getting certified people into those. But until that happens, we do have virtual teachers that are working with the kids, and we have paraprofessionals that are in the classroom supporting.
Over at the Christina School District, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Deirdre Joyner says that the shortage has affected 88 teacher positions throughout the district.
You know, teacher recruitment efforts have been just amazingly amped up during this time. We are advertising in spaces and places across the country.
Many students, college age, are just not going into the profession anymore. So if you take a look across the country, there's just been a decline of people just going into teaching in general. So we are just trying to right now to, once we get teachers, just retain the teachers that we have.
The Colonial School District is taking many steps, including partnering with colleges and universities to attract and keep teachers in the classroom. With DETV, I'm Kaylin Pride.
And speaking of schools, the next time you pass a stopped school bus, especially one from the Red Clay School District, you may want to think twice. House Bill 120 was just signed in June, creating a pilot program for Red Clay to use external cameras on their buses to catch motorists who fail to stop when a school bus uses its red sign.
We recognize that one of the most concerning parts of getting our children to school safely was when they were entering and exiting a bus, because we were seeing an increase in the number of motorists that would disregard the flashing stop sign and go right past the bus.
Since April, 50 school buses have been equipped with the cameras, and as of August 1st, 113 citations have been issued. Going forward, the district will use monthly updated reports on the citations. The Wilmington Police Department is looking for a few good young men and women. The city is reviving its police cadet program for applicants who are between the ages of 18 to 21. The cadets will work directly with seasoned officers and the community while being paid as part-time employees. The hiring process includes a background check, drug screening, and a medical exam and interviews. Those interested have to have a high school diploma or a GED. The last time the city ran the cadet program was back in the 1990s. If you're interested, contact the WPD cadet program at the number you see on your screen. And if you know a civic-minded young person who stands out for their community service, listen up. The John Lewis Youth Leadership Awards program is now taking nominations. Nominees must reside in Delaware, be 25 years of age or younger, and show a commitment to civil rights issues, including, but not limited to, voting rights. The nomination process closes October 21st. If you know a young person who's committed to bringing about positive change in the community, just like the late Congressman John Lewis was, submit your nomination to the website you see on your screen. The person awarded will be chosen during the month of November. After the break, Goodwill makes an eco-friendly partnership, and historic schools in the first state celebrate milestone anniversaries. Stay tuned, more DETV News is next.
The most common question people ask me is, why am I not playing professionally? I had a very successful high school career. I was Gatorade Player of the Year 3 times, 2-time state champion. But what people don't know is that I also had 2 other knee surgeries in my sophomore and junior season. People always ask me, do you wish you could take back your injuries? But I'm actually glad that I got hurt. After those injuries, I turned into a totally different player. Things just started to go up from there. One day I got a call from Trevor Cooney at the 76ers Fieldhouse, and he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to use the facility for my training. All of the pieces started coming together, and before you know it, Han Hoops was now running in a beautiful multi-million-dollar facility. Business was booming. My ultimate goal when building this was just to really make kids happy and get them invested into committing to basketball. It's important that I make sure I open these doors for all my kids, while at the same time showing them the amount of endless possibilities that can come from working hard, giving 110%, and to never fear adversity. My ultimate goal is to get all my kids to the D1 level, the same stage that I was able to play at. In 2 to 3 years, you're gonna hear a lot of big names, and a lot of kids' lives are going to be changed. That's what we do at Han Hoops. Come join us. My name is Adriana Han, and I'm the founder and creator of Han Hoops.
Good news for Goodwill. 3 independent Goodwill organizations serving Delaware and other parts of the Mid-Atlantic have partnered with Trex. The purpose of the partnership with the world's largest composite deck company is to recycle and repurpose plastic film.
So far, we've collected 24,000 pounds of single-use plastics that would normally go into our landfills and unfortunately litter our communities and endanger our wildlife. Once the plastic leaves the Goodwill stores, it goes to our recycling center in Newcastle County, Delaware, and from there on to Trex.
In other news, many gathered at the Claymont Community Center to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the Claymont 12. Once known as Claymont High School, the now Community Center played a pivotal role in the desegregation in the first state and across the nation. Joan Anderson, one of the surviving African-American students from the class of 1956, shared words on what it was like being one of the first who integrated into the high school in 1952, just 2 years before Brown versus the Board of Education. The Hockessin Colored School also held a milestone celebration for its 101st anniversary. In the 1950s, the school, as well as Shirley Beulah and her family, became part of the landmark case that would pave the way for Brown versus the Board of Education decision in 1954.
We're thankful that we've lived long enough to see this day. I wish that each and every one who has went through here would be here today. But I know they're here in spirit, but I'm looking forward to the day when I can come in here and show my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren and my great-great-grandchildren what this building means.
And speaking of schools in the state, U.S. Secretary of Education Miguel Cardona recognized 3 Delaware schools for the National Blue Ribbon Award. 297 schools, including 2 from the Red Clay Consolidated School District, were named 2022 National Blue Ribbon Schools. Linden Hill Elementary and Cap Calloway School of the Arts were on the national list. North Dover Elementary School was the 3rd Delaware school that was named. The department recognizes all schools in one of 2 categories: exemplary high performance schools and exemplary achievement gap closing schools. Each year, top education officials in all states nominate schools in their state for the award. For the first time in 5 years, the President's own United States Marine Band is back on tour and will make a stop in Delaware. The band will perform at Mount Pleasant High School on October 30th at 3 p.m., and the good news is tickets are free. They're available online. If you'd like to see the return of this American tradition, visit the website you see on your screen. Seating is general admission, and ticket holders must be in their seats by 2:45 p.m. Coming up after the break, Nick Alessandrini recaps the Eagles' big win and gives updates on the high school football season. DETV Sports is next.
As soon as I got here, I just felt the warm embrace of the community, man. Like, what y'all got going on is wonderful. And no wonder y'all called the work group, because y'all putting that work in. For real, seriously, y'all getting the work done.
We are committed to creating the best Riverside we can with the community, for the community.
Oh, yeah, I'm excited. Storman's Classic Hall of Fame inductees have just reached here. We're going to induct 100 people, and all the conversation around the state is going to come to a halt because we're going to induct 100 guys and girls on September the 29th at the Chase Center at 6 p.m. Be there. Also, most of these folks participated in Storman's Turkey Drive. It always happens the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Be there, Storman's Classic 100 Basketball Hall of Fame. I'm ready. Woo!
Welcome back to DETV News. I'm Nick Alessandrini. Let's talk some Delaware sports. Well, in week 2 of high school football is in the books. The Eagles with an impressive showing in their home opener on Monday night, and the Blue Hens continue to climb up those FCS polls. But let's start with the Birds. A great showing last week on the road in Detroit to open up the season 1-0, but could they continue that offensive explosion in prime time against another potential top NFC opponent? Well, the answer was yes. It was a beautiful night in Philly on Monday when the Vikings came to town, but it was all Eagles. Offensive line kept him clean, and Jalen Hurts looked fantastic. He finishes the night with 331 yards, 1 touchdown, a pick, but also ran for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith caught all 7 of his targets for 80 yards, and Darius Slay had 2 picks, covering the one and only Justin Jefferson. He even gave one of the balls to James Harden, who was sitting in the end zone. It was all Eagles Monday night in the 24-7 win. One of the tougher games on the schedule, too, for Philly. Eagles have a very favorable schedule going forward. They're sitting atop that NFC East at 2-0. Now to high school football, where the Harvest Bowl took center stage on Friday night as the number 2 ranked Smyrna Eagles traveled up to Cavalier Stadium to take on Middletown in a state championship rematch. Let's pick this one up in the first. Middletown at the Smyrna 11 when Austin Troyer rolls left and hits Josh Roberson, who does the rest. Gets to the outside and into the end zone. Middletown takes a 7-0 lead. Then time running down in the first half as Troyer escapes the pressure and fires to the sophomore Vernal Gary for the 20-yard touchdown. Cavaliers take a 14-0 lead into the locker room. We'll jump to the fourth. Smyrna back into this one after a Holman 10-yard touchdown run. Here they are at midfield out of that earthquake formation. Timothy Yancey cuts inside, finds a hole, and is off to the races. A 50-yard touchdown run. We are all tied at 14. Now, late in the fourth, 19 seconds to go. Cavaliers had it at the Smyrna 32. Troyer again out of the pocket, this time able to set his feet and find his man Crisilla in the middle of the end zone for the go-ahead score. Cavaliers win it 21-14 and remain that top team in Class 3A. So after some of the results from last week, let's take a look at the Delaware Live Sports rankings. After week number 2, we start with that Class 3A. Middletown sitting at number 1. Smyrna at number 2. Sussex Central, they're undefeated. They sit at 3. Coach John Wells getting that 200th victory this past weekend. Congratulations to Coach Wells. St. George's sits at 4. Dover 5, and then Cape Henlopen at 6 as Sally's rounds out the top 7. Now we jump to Class 2A. The undefeated state champs from last year, Archmere, sit at that top spot. But what a season it's been so far for the St. Mark Spartans. They have made their way up to number 2. Howard 3, Wilmington Friends sitting at 4, and then Caravel, Lake Forest, and McCain rounding out 2A's 5, 6, and 7 teams. Now we jump to the final Class 1A. Laurel, the state champs from 2021. They are your number 1 team so far this season, followed by St. E's at number 2. Seaford has jumped up to number 3. Tatnall 4, and then Odessa, Wilmington Charter, and St. Andrews rounding out 5, 6, and 7 in Class 1A. The Delaware Blue Hens, they continue to climb up these FCS rankings. They sit now at number 8. The Hens took a trip to Rhode Island Saturday to take on the Rams after starting the season 2-0 with wins over FBS Navy and MEAC Del State. URI 2-0 as well in this one, but this one, like the Eagles on Monday, it was all the Blue Hens. It started early and continued off in a huge day for the Delaware native Nolan Henderson, the FCS Offensive Player of the Week as the best player in the country offensively, 379 yards, 4 touchdowns for the former Smyrna Eagle. The defense limits Rhodey to 21 points, and the Hens improve to 3-0. And a cool note from the voice of the Blue Hens, Scott Klatskin, there is only one school with their current quarterback and a former quarterback in the NFL to both throw for 300 yards this weekend. Nolan Henderson, Joe Flacco from the University of Delaware. Well, that's it for sports this week. Lauren, send it back to you.
Thanks, Nick. And speaking of sports, the Delaware Bluecoats are holding open tryouts Saturday, September 24th. Tryouts for the NBA G League team will be held at Delaware State University. For more information and tryout registration, head to the Bluecoats website. We're going to take a quick break, but more DETV news is ahead.
Let DART do the driving. DART First State provides transportation that is clean, safe, reliable, and affordable. Plan your trip and get real-time bus information with the free DART Transit app. Scan your phone to pay your fare with the free DART Pass app. So what are you waiting for? Try transit today. Visit dartfirststate.com or call 1-800-652-DART.
Welcome back. The city of Wilmington was buzzing with events this past weekend, and DETV was there to capture it all. The Diamond State Black Film Festival showcased 24 selected works created by or featuring people of color.
This festival gives people a chance to see fabulous black films that showcase African American life in new perspectives that they don't often see.
Attendees had a chance to meet with the filmmakers and attend workshops on industry trends and topics that inspire the next generation of filmmakers. The 28th Annual People's Festival, celebrating the life of legendary musical artist Bob Marley, was another crowd pleaser. Wilmington was the singer's first home outside of his Jamaican roots. The festival was held at Tubman Garrett Riverfront Park. It featured rock and reggae acts, vendors, and more. And many little girls had a chance to be a fairy for a day at the Fairy Festival. It was held at Rockwood Park. Children of all ages were dressed in fun costumes and enjoyed live performances, outdoor games, crafts, bubbles, and much more. It truly was a magical day creating childhood imagination. Also, this past weekend, Delaware's chapter of the Coalition of 100 Black Women hosted the first Black Girls Move Walk. Held at Battery Park in Newcastle, the organization partnered with Black Nurses Rock, Newman University nursing students, elected officials, and other influencers for a day of exercise, fun, and fellowship.
We're excited because what we found in the research is that our Black girls were not moving. They were sitting on the couch and they were on their phone. And so now today celebrates the Black Girls Walk, which is getting them to move. This is the year of the Black girl and beyond, and so what better way than to kick it off with a walk?
And speaking of walking, AIDS Delaware and the Delaware HIV Consortium joined forces and held the annual AIDS Walk Delaware. Walkers were offered flu and monkeypox vaccines on site from Ivera Pharmacy. This year's theme was Step Up, Step Out, Remove Stigma, Eliminate HIV, and Improve Lives. The walk took place in both Wilmington and Rehoboth Beach. And a secret worldwide event was held once again in the city. DETV's Kaylin Pride was at the affair called De Neon Blanc, and of course, she was dressed in all white. Here she is with the exclusive report.
I'm Kaylin Pride with DETV here at the most exclusive pop-up picnic in the city. Danae en Blanc Wilmington is back for another year of excellence and elegance. Let's go take a look.
It's a hidden gem in Wilmington, and that's what we're going to keep doing, finding like the best hidden gems and bringing them, forward to the people so they can come and see Wilmington in a whole nother light.
I love the setup. It's giving very luxurious, just top of the line, high class. I feel like it's just Black excellence all throughout the room. I'm like really feeling the vibe tonight.
To me, it's about pride. It's really about pride, and it's a diverse crowd, which I always love, and it just shows what the city of Wilmington can do when we get together. It's awesome.
I've gone in previous years, and Danae en Blanc is an event not to be missed. It is absolutely fabulous. And finally tonight, a World War II B-17 veteran celebrated his 101st birthday. Ray Figmani was joined by fellow veterans to bring in his milestone birthday. Ray's name may sound familiar as his book entitled Against All Odds recounts the history of the veteran from his humble beginnings to earning his wings as a B-17 co-pilot. We at DETV wish you a very happy birthday, Ray. That's all for DETV News. I'm Lauren Wilson. Be sure to follow DETV across all social media platforms and stay up to date on our website at detvch.com. Stay well, and we'll see you next time.